If someone came up to you right now and literally asked you the question, like, I keep seeing your content, I keep seeing your stuff, and I'm like so curious, like, what do you actually do? And let me just get out of the way. Like, I'm not talking about like Uncle Jerry. Okay. Uncle Jerry asking you, what do you actually do? Because I've been seeing your content is a totally different answer than your target dream client asking you that question. If Uncle Jerry, I don't have an Uncle Jerry, by the way, but I do have a lot of uncles. If Uncle Jerry asked me that question, like, what do you do? I keep seeing your content. I would literally answer in a way where I'm just like, I help female thought leaders grow a bigger audience on social media. Like, that's all he needs to know. Like, also, like, I don't really care what Uncle Jerry knows about what I do or thinks about what I do because he ain't paying me. You feel me? So I can't impact him. That's like beyond even getting paid. Now, if Sally, my ideal client, is like, man, I keep seeing your content, and like she's sliding in my DMs and she's like, what do you like actually do? First of all, I hope that she doesn't ask me that because I would want my content to answer that. And that is the whole point. That is the whole point of today's episode, because I'm finding I've now worked with hundreds. I have to actually count how many women have come through my business, because I don't know. I would love to know that number, but definitely hundreds, maybe even thousands of women that I see, like, they, I want to say struggle with content, but I also want to like just let it be known every single time that someone is struggling with content in my world, it's not an anomaly. Like, whatever you're struggling with when it comes to your content you're not different because you have that struggle. Someone, like, it's a very common struggle most of the time. And a lot of the times, like, I can even see myself in their struggle. Like, I have those thoughts too. The difference is I've now practiced beast moding through while I still have that limiting belief or that struggle internally. So that's one thing. That was like a side note there. Whew. But if you are not understanding what you do, like if you're not clear on what you do, there's a reason that no one in your audience knows. Like, they can only know things about you and about your business and about your genius to the level of which you know them. So it's like one thing to try to create content and sell people into your world. It's another thing to like know why you're doing that. And like how, like, once they actually do come into your world, has anyone asked you that? Like, okay, cool, I'm going to teach you. I mean, everyone's out here trying to tell you how to sell in your content. But what happens when they get into your world? Like, are you able to take care of them? Are you able to actually get people a result? Because I care about that. Like, I'm not going to teach you how to manipulate the system with your quote unquote messaging if you have no idea what you're doing. So again, that's not to discourage you. That is to get you to contemplate on this. And if someone were to ask you, like, your dream client says, okay, like, I get it. Like, you coach content, like you coach on social media, like you coach women to create these obsessed audience, but like, what do you do? Like, how do you do that? If someone were to ask you that, if that was, whatever your niche is, whatever your topic is, would you have a clear, concise, and compelling answer? Or would you hear yourself like rambling and like trying to think and then thinking to yourself like, okay, that was not it. Like, that, I just like suffered through that. So here's what I know. If the answer to that question isn't clean and you're not saying it with your freaking chest, like you're not super convicted in the what of what you do or how you do it, here's what's crazy about that. It's like, yes, I want you to care about discovering that and studying that and perfecting your craft. But again, to add to that, your content is paying the mother freaking price for it. Like, we're going to talk about exactly why today in this episode. I'm so excited about this because I'm really passionate about this. I love coaches. I love teachers. I love thought leaders who are making a difference. But it's so important that if that is your lane, if that is who you identify as, you have to know how you make a difference. And there's many different ways of doing this. And I cannot wait to clear all of that up right now. So now, all of this is like, I'm going to talk about this problem of being unclear here, but I want you to like truly hear in my voice, I'm not shaming you. Like, I'm not making you feel like you're behind. And you might feel that. And I want you to know, like, no one can make you feel anything, number one. And then I want you to ask yourself, why do I feel like I'm behind? Why am I allowing myself to feel that? Because this is more of a revelation for you. This is going to help you like collapse time, actually. So instead of thinking about where you're at right now, think about where you can go with this conversation today. This is one of the most common things that I see in the women that I work with. Truly. It's almost never talked about too, which is wild. Like, there's not a lot of people who specialize in this area, but the conversation around content is almost always about how you say things. Like, sorry. It's about how you say things with what you do. Let me back that up because that's like so fucking confusing. My goodness, I just tripped up over my words. I was like getting ahead of myself. Like, let me just like dissect this in real time. Cause in my head, I was like, oh, I just remembered a story that I want to tell about this situation. So what I meant to say before I tell you the story is content is not about how you say things, but it is about talking about how you do things. Okay. So major difference. The story that I want to tell you was I obviously invest in mentorship like at a very steep rate. Like I pay a lot of money. I literally hired a woman last week for a 90-minute call and I paid her $1,000 for the 90-minute call. And that is like, if you would have told me even last year that I would be doing things like that, I would be like, absolutely not. That's insane. Like, what do you mean? That's someone's mortgage. That's crazy. But I did that. And all of that to say, I really prioritize getting around women who are doing things bigger than I'm doing them. And I pay money for that because it's that important to me. Now, that's that mentor that I hired for that one call. The mentor that I have right now, the long-term mentor, in the beginning of, it might have even been at the end of 2025, I remember asking her a question of like, if you had to like pick one thing for me to improve on, what would that be? And she is a business mentor. So she's really good at business strategy and really good at sales conversions. And those are two things that I wanted to work on. So that's why I hired her. Now, she immediately told me, you are obviously great at creating content. You have an audience, you have an engaged community, but I still don't understand if I were like to step away from this and I didn't know you and I didn't know your business. Like, I don't understand how you do what you do. And that has stuck with me like never before. That's another thing about me is I have also learned in my experience that it's like when you're listening to someone tell you something, you can't expect that that's the like, I don't know how to say this, but that stuck with me. And I want to give that to you because when you're asking your mentors questions and they give you gold like this, it's not about you deciding whether or not she's right or wrong. Like that's not the situation. The situation is, oh, that's a real perception of hers and I get to decide what I want to do with that. But like I'm not moving on from that until I feel like that's cleared. Like I don't need a ton of answers. There's no secret strategy that any of us are missing. It's about working on these things and giving them time to unfold and continuously working on them. So I want like I am like one of my biggest flexes is I have very strong belief in delayed gratification and I can practice that. I'm not looking for something overnight. That does not exist. With that being said, because I heard her say that to me and I know that the conversation around content is not about how you say things. It's almost not even most of the time about the messaging. At some point it is, okay? But we oftentimes think, okay, I'm going to adjust the hook. I'm going to adjust the format of how I'm saying things. The algorithm is going to find me. Like I'm going to practice SEO. Like very rarely is it whether like you like those things. Very rarely. Most of the time, it's what you actually know about what you do at a deep enough level to then build content around it. I need to say that again. I wish I like had that written out so I could read it to you, but it's most of the time the problem with your content not building, like if we're talking about the end goal here, it's you're listening to my episodes, you're in my world, you are wanting to learn from me because I know how to build you an obsessed audience. And when I say obsessed audience, I'm talking about people who are wanting to learn from you, wanting to be led by you. They're not the pain in the ass people who are just like there to complain. They're also not like fans and watchers. Like they're people who are like ride or die empire building people. Okay. Now, from that stance, your content isn't doing what you want it to do, which is it's not building the obsessed audience because you don't know what you do at a deep enough level to build content around that. If you were to just end this episode right here and go think about like the way I just told you how I contemplated my mentor's feedback, if you just contemplated that, like I can guarantee you shit's going to change for you. But we're not done. Okay, so we have a lot more to go. So one thing that has changed for me in my content approach, and right now, like I go viral once a week at the bare minimum. It's insane. It's an insane experience. And I've never had so much traction and momentum in my entire life. And I'm not even talking just like visibility. I'm talking like new enrollments coming in every single day that I wake up. And this is beyond, like, I know in the last couple episodes, I've been talking about email subscribers coming in, which that's how it started. Like, people were signing up for my freebies. And then I created the Yap and Snap challenge, which, by the way, doors are still open. You can come in. It is freaking fire in there. But then I created the Yap and Snap challenge, and people were, I mean, the enrollments have been insane, you guys. I've never experienced anything like this. Truly. Like, I feel like I'm having a breakthrough right now. I'm in the quantum leap, if you will. And one shift that I made here was I started to believe in my audience, even the people who were not paying me. I believed in them. And the way that I believed in them is I decided they were smart. Crazy revelation. I decided my audience was smart, and it changed how I showed up for them. When you are speaking to your audience in your yapping videos, or even in any content, it doesn't matter what it is, your audience can feel when you haven't fully arrived at your own answer and your own clarity yet. They can feel that from you. And it's not because your content is bad. It's not because you are unintelligent. It's because there's this particular energy or quality, I guess, to the content that comes from a woman who has claimed what she does versus someone who is still deciding what she does. There's a massive difference. And the first kind, when you're leading with that conviction and you've decided this is what I do, and a lot of this is like taking up space with where you're at. So we're going to get to that in a minute. But that energy of like, I've decided this is what I do and I'm really good at it, and I can't stop talking about it. That pulls people in. And that's what I've been turning on in the last couple months. And I'm here to tell you, I'm a product of my own preaching. The second type of way, where you're like, oh, I'm like still deciding, like I still don't know exactly what I do, like I'm not super clear on it. That's when you're gonna, like, you might get some views, you might get some engagement. It's like, but you're gonna get the kind where it's like, I love your energy, you're so inspirational. And then a scroll. Like, they don't care to, like, they're not pulled by you. So if you're the type of person where your content has been getting love, like you post and people like it feels kind of good, but you're not getting leverage from it, because there's a difference here. You're not getting leverage. Like, you're not getting followers. You're not getting the type of comments that are like, man, you changed my life. Like, how do I hire you? Like, when does the offer begin? Like, those sort of things. Or like, man, are you speaking directly to me? Did you make this video for me? If that's not, and then the leverage from there goes to like, they become your clients truly. But if people are liking you and yet they don't know what to buy from you and they don't know why to buy from you, then there's a very good chance that this is the root problem for you. So feel free to listen to this episode multiple times. Like, I don't hold back. There's no gatekeeping over here. Like, I'm going to give you everything I've got. Now, obviously, if you hire me, we're going to go deeper on these things and it's going to be more customized to you. Like, I'm going to be able to pull this out of you specific to you. But the reason that I have a podcast is so that you can go make a difference. So don't do nothing from this podcast, please. Like, take notes and apply the changes, implement. So we're going to walk through this distinction of what I just mentioned so that you can have clarity leaving this episode. I would say that most women that come into my world, like they do know the result that they provide. Like, everyone provides an outcome. Okay. Again, I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're a thought leader, an influencer, or a coach, or a mentor, or a teacher. It doesn't matter. You provide a result. Most women that come into my world, they understand the result that they provide, but in a like, how do I want to say, like, broad strokes way, like very vague. I hate like using that because I feel like everyone uses that, but that's the only way to describe it. It's very vague. So it would sound something like, yeah, like when you work with me, you gain confidence, or you get more clients, or you make more money, or you have the ultimate freedom, you find clarity, like you're more peaceful, like whatever that may be. And they can get there when they're pressed. Like, if they're asked, like, they can get there. Like, yeah, you'll hire me and you'll become more confident. But if you ask them, okay, how do you make people more confident? Like, how do you get people to that end result? Then what the actual answer is, like, if I were to ask these women that, they they don't know how to answer with what they actually do, or what their method is, or what would happen in a working session with them. Like, things get murky and like sketch real fast. And it's because they've only been focusing on this vague result. They have not been focusing on their actual craft. And I am so passionate about this. I'm so passionate about it because I actually don't know why. I wonder why I'm so passionate about it. This is how my brain works, by the way. I'm always like questioning myself, thinking about my thoughts, like understanding like where are these things coming from? And one thing that you should know about me is like on my mom's side, that I grew up with football coaches and football players. So my mom's dad was a Division I football coach. And all of her brothers, she has 3 brothers, they all played Division I football and then coached at some point in time. And my mom, like, it's so crazy. Obviously, she didn't play football, but growing up, my sister and I played basketball. And my mom would come in. My mom was always like this. She actually owned like several aerobic studios in her prime when she was in her 30s in New Jersey. Like she was an aerobics girly. Like Brooke Shields came to her classes. Like she was so good at aerobics, which actually is like hilarious if you knew my sister. And if you don't know my sister, Turn Up with Tansy, you need to go follow her. She's like the current day version of my mom doing what she did with aerobics. But anyway, all of that to say, when we were growing up playing basketball, my mom, because she was such a fitness guru, like she would come and lead conditioning sessions for all of our basketball teams, like for our travel teams. So my mom was a coach and a teacher and like a transformer. So it's like been ingrained in me. Okay. And then on my dad's side, my dad is like this brilliant, he's extremely intelligent, like extremely. And he has always been in medical device sales. And he's like so good at what he does. He's famous in his own respect over there. He's retired now. Congrats, Dad. So happy for you. But he was so good at what he did that he was then like training and selling at the same time. So he was always teaching people how to get results in the way that he was getting results. So I come from this family of teachers, coaches, like it's in my blood. So I think that's why I'm so passionate about this, because I've seen what can happen when you are really good at teaching people how to change. And that's all this is. It's a transfer of power. Now, let's dive into this because there's 2 very different pieces to this equation. You have the results that you provide, which is like, I mean, we've all heard this time and time again. What is the transformation of the offer? What is the transformation of your work? What does someone's life look like on the other side? What is the destination? We've all heard that. And sometimes you have difficulty describing that in micro specificity because you're missing the next part of the equation because no one's asking you this. What is the mechanism? What is the strategy? What is the vehicle? How do you specifically get them from here to there? What do you do that others don't do? Now, chances are you're overthinking this. So for example, like let's use my sister, okay? Let's just say that let's not use my sister because I'm going to confuse you. Let's use someone who is a turn up instructor though, okay? Her business is Turn Up Dance Fitness, and she actually trains turn up instructors. So I didn't want to use her because I feel like that's a more complex situation. So let's just take a turn up instructor, a dance fitness instructor. The result that the dance fitness instructor provides during a dance fitness class is what? Like you get to decide what that is. And chances are it's going to be the results that you found through dance fitness. So for me, like I love dance choreo classes. If I was a dance choreo teacher, this could be my equation. I would say the result is going to you're going to feel swaggy, but you're also going to feel like you get a break from your brain running 10,000 miles per hour about like your work. Like you're going to get a break from that. You're not going to think about anything else during this class. And then at the end, you're going to feel swaggy as hell. Like you're just going to feel on top of the world. You're going to feel like you are a kid again, like playing in that room. You're going to learn how to dance. Like you're going to learn how to find your own rhythm. That is the result. The mechanism, what is the vehicle of how I get you to that transformation is the choreo class. So in the choreo class, I probably have like a formula of at first I'm going to warm you up. You're going to get your muscles warm. And then we're going to go into the first 8 count. And then we're going to build on that first 8 count. And then we're going to play the music and you're going to run through it with the music. So you see how I'm like, that is the vehicle though. The vehicle is the choreo class. It's that simple. And then I know the transformation of the choreo class. The transformation is not the choreo, if that makes sense. The vehicle is the choreo. Stick with me. Okay, so you need both, and they're not interchangeable. So the test for this is like if I were to ask you right now, if you're sitting in front of me, if I were to ask you, how do you get people results? What do you actually do with them? Could you answer that simply? Not with like this 3-minute explanation, just simplify it. So for me, if someone were to ask me that question, how do you get people results? I would say in this current challenge, so the Yap and Snap challenge, for example, I teach you how to record yourself speaking to the camera. That's the vehicle. That's not the result. That's the vehicle. Now, that's how I teach people how to get results. If you can answer that, if you know exactly what you do, again, don't overthink it. That is now your mechanism. And it's probably not showing up in your content clearly enough. Truly. Like I work through this all the time with my clients, and I pretend like I don't know them, and I look at their content and I'm like, I have no idea why I would hire you over someone else talking about the same things you're talking about, because you're not telling me how you do things. And the reason you're not doing that is because you feel like if you were to give it all away, which is impossible, by the way, that why would they hire me if I'm giving it all away? And that's the wrong way to think about this. I usually don't go right and wrong, but that is the wrong way to think about this. This is where we start with you, because you're not going to take your whole intellectual property, all of the things that you've created, and then teach them in your content. That's not the point here. You're going to talk about them though. Your content is built off of this. So why does this matter for your content? When you know your mechanism, when you know your strategy and what you do and the vehicle of how you get someone from A to Z, every piece of content then has a destination for you. There's a massive intention behind your content. Every story that you tell, whether it's personal or about a client, every take, every perspective, every teaching moment, it points back to something concrete. Then you can get away from like, this is not just a vibe. It's not just like a category. It's not just like a topic. It's not a niche. It's a specific way of creating transformation that you get to own. No one can do it your way. Trust me, I have people that copy me every day, every single day. People who are using the words obsessed audience, people who are using the words ride or die empires, people who are taking things that like personality content even. They're taking from me and what I say. And it doesn't bother me at all, because I'm like, damn, you're slowing down your own growth because you have no idea how to teach that. You're just thinking that the title personality content is going to get you clients because you're seeing that it's getting me clients. It doesn't work that way. It does not work that way. That's why it's like, go ahead and copy me. Like we're not in competition. The way that you do something is the way that I could never do it. That's why you need to figure out where you own the message, the mechanism here. And when you own that, when you figure out what that is, that's what makes content land for people. That's what makes people think to themselves like, oh, she's the one I need to hire for this. Like, again, it's not going to take some crazy name. You're overthinking it. You don't need some crazy name. It's your energy behind knowing what the F you're talking about, period. And that's when people will identify you as she's different than what I've ever heard before. It's an energy. So I'm going to use a couple examples as proof that this framework works across any type of content creator, any type. Okay, and I'm starting with Alix Earl because she's a well-known influencer. I typically do not work with influencers, but now I'm starting to open up my mind to the fact of like everything that we all do is the same. We all have a vehicle. We all get someone a result. Okay, and almost I could go as far to say as like we all have different vehicles, and the result that we provide is all the same. We want someone to like feel forever change, like feel personal power, feel confident. Like it's all the same at its core, but it's different. So Alix Earl, if you don't know who Alix Earl is, she started posting to TikTok and blew the F up. Like I'm talking, I mean, she's like mad famous now, but in the influencer world, I would say like she's not like Taylor Swift type famous, but she's famous. Okay. If you go back to like how she originally started her content, all she was doing, and I don't even know if it was every day, but she was showing up face to camera and she would do her makeup while she was talking, while she was recording herself. And she would talk about like she lived like this, I think she was in college, like she lived like this uninhibited life. Like she would talk about partying, she would talk about boys, she would talk about friends, and she just did it like with massive truth. And it was unhinged almost. And it was like she was just being herself. She wasn't teaching. She wasn't coaching. She did not have a methodology with a name. But if you do break down what she was actually doing, it maps out perfectly into this equation that I'm talking about. So the result that she was living and speaking to was women living freely, basically. Like I said, uninhibited. Permission to let your hair down a little bit, not to take life so seriously, like romanticize a regular turn up Tuesday, like you're turning up in college, like whatever. Like be young, be a little unserious. Okay, that was the result. The mechanism as to which she did this was get ready with me. Talk to the camera, like talk to me like we're having a good time. Like let's put makeup on. Let's make everything a big deal, a party. Let's commute. Let's have a mundane Wednesday turn into a wild Wednesday. Like let's show up. Let's document it. Like let's be girly. Her mechanism was put makeup on and go out and like make friends, do wild shit. And the result will get you to the living freely. Sorry, the mechanism will get you to the result of living freely. She was not consciously aware that she was doing this, you guys. So yes, I'm analyzing the F out of this. I get that, but I want this to make sense for you. She naturally embodied this equation. And that's why it worked though. Like she wasn't trying to be like, what can I say to make people feel like they should be living an unhinged life and like put makeup on and like feel girly and like just be themselves. She wasn't doing that. She wasn't like, what can my hook be to go viral and get more followers? But the result was visible as hell in her content. And the path to it was accessible for people. Like people could get there. Her audience didn't just admire her. They felt like they could step into that too with her. They aspired to be like her. That was her lane. That was her angle. And not everyone starts there, okay? Like not everyone does that path. So let's talk about someone else. Like on the total opposite end of the spectrum, we have Alix Hormozi, okay? And I'm talking about content creators right now. So yes, Alix Hormozi is a businessman, but he's also a content creator. Gary Vee, content creator. Cody Sanchez, content creator. All of them, content creator. Shelby Sapp, content creator. On the other end of the spectrum entirely is Alix Hormozi from Alix Earl. Both Alixes. I didn't even realize that. Okay, the end result, the outcome that Alix provides in his business, in his mentorship, is wealth. Like sustainable, scalable business wealth. That is his whole brand is about that. The mechanism that he provides getting people to that result is, first of all, he talks about relentless content output. Relentless. Like he's insane with it. He talks about smart business strategies. He talks about giving away the entire playbook for free and like almost betting that people won't execute it anyway. Like his mechanism is all about content and business strategy. And in his content, he teaches that explicitly. But he also documents himself doing it in real time. Like a lot of his videos right now, like he is coaching in real time. You get to feel what it would feel like to get coached by him by watching him do it. His content is the evidence of his mechanism working. So if you realize this, it's the same architecture between the two, different execution, but they're both known for something specific. They're both known for they're experts at what they do, even before they decided they were experts at what they do. You think Alix was like, I don't know if I'm an expert at putting makeup on, so maybe I shouldn't do this to the camera. Like, no, dude. But she became known for that. And years later, now she has this insanely successful skincare brand. That's where it's like, you can't plan for these things. Like I even ask my sister all the time, like she has a massive empire for Turn Up Dance Fitness, but she started this and she had no idea that it was ever going to turn into Turn Up Dance Fitness. It wasn't even called that at the time. Like you just can't plan for these things. So it's all about like showing up and figuring it out along the way. But they were both like Alix Earl and Alix Hormozi. They weren't creating content that like it wasn't just entertaining. It was converting in many different ways. Followers, fans, obsessed audiences, clients, like whatever. The through line here though is it doesn't matter if you are personality led or teacher led, or you could be both. Like it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you have a 7-step framework or you're just like showing up on camera while you're doing your makeup. But the question underneath all of that, as to which we're talking about today, is the exact same. What is the result? What is the path? When those two things are clear, like even to you, before they're ever clear to your audience, that content changes. When this is clear to you before it's ever clear to your audience, your content will start to change. So after you listen to this episode, I really, I have to say this again, I don't want you to hear all of this from me and think okay, I need to go figure this out completely before I ever post a piece of content ever again. That is not what I'm saying. And I need to make that very freaking clear. That's not what I'm saying. If you are waiting to be an expert before you start doing, we have a major problem on our hands. Doing, posting, putting yourself out there is what's going to turn you into an expert regardless of your niche. Putting yourself out there and talking about how you do what you do, practicing teaching what you do in your content is the thing that's going to refine the thing that you do. You just have to be willing to start unclear. And that is, for whatever reason, very hard for a lot of people. And you have to be willing to showcase your evolution in real life. Be willing to improve your content in public. That is why I named my content membership The Evolution, because that's all that matters. If you are in my world for 30 days and the post you make on day 1 isn't drastically different than the post you make on day 30, then we have a problem. Everything else is extra. The clients coming in, the followers coming in. If you haven't improved the way that you show up in your content from day 1 to day 30, that is the problem. And it's not going to ever be perfect. It's never going to feel perfect. So try to forget about that entirely. But this is the only way through. You do start uncertain. All of these people that I'm talking about that have success, they had no idea what they were doing when they started. No idea. They just were determined to figure it out. They started messy. So you show up and you post the imperfect version and then you refine it. So I have a lot of girlies in my world who they don't need to be told to post every day, which majority of people in my world do not need to be told that. They post every single day. And then if things aren't going their way, or they're not getting new clients, or it's not going the way that they want it to go with their following or whatever, they think to themselves, maybe I need to be doing something else. Do I need to be paying for ads? Do I need to consider a setter? Do I need to consider sales calls? Do I need to consider an email funnel? Whatever that may be. None of those things are wrong, by the way. But the problem is you can post all day, every day if you want to. If you're not focused on refining your content, then that's why your content isn't doing the job that you want it to do. And the way that you refine your content is by refining your craft. This is a whole interconnected web. And you refine your craft through your content, through your clients, through the conversations that come back to you. The refining is the mother freaking sauce. That's the whole game. So the difference between a woman who builds a brand and someone who doesn't isn't that one of them had it figured out first. It's that one of them started before they were ready and they kept going and they figured it out along the way. So get your cute little tush up and starting. If you listen to this episode and you're okay, I kind of know my result, but I couldn't give you a clean answer on my mechanism. That is what I would call the IP engine. And the IP engine is a core component to the takeover season formula. The takeover season formula it's the entire curriculum inside of the takeover mastermind, where I go deep with you on exactly this. What you actually do, how you do it, how you turn that into a body of content, a library of content, and a personal brand that makes you unstoppable, undeniable for people watching you. And to me, this is the work that makes everything else easier. This is the work where you find messaging clarity. This is the work that actually allows your content to convert a following, an audience, clients, whatever you want that to look like. The confidence to show up and to own it without second guessing everything that you do, second guessing every word that you say. It all comes back to your IP engine. If you're ready to stop guessing at what you do or approximating at what you do and you want to own it fully, you're I would just love to be so convicted in what I do. I feel like everything would be easier. The takeover applications are open. I'm going to drop the link for you to apply to join the takeover. Not everyone is going to be approved to join the takeover. Like, let me just say that right now. And it's not personal. I'm very particular with who comes into this space for a reason that has everything to do with you. Like, I'm not going to bring you into this space if I don't feel like you're ready to, first of all, do the work, because it does require work. But second of all, like, there might be some things in place depending on where you're at that we can work on elsewhere. So the takeover is like, that is the place where you are going to turn into a mother freaking beast and take over social media and take over with your brand and your business. But sometimes there's some things that we need in place before that. So I'm going to drop the takeover application. Feel free to apply. You will hear from us within 24 to 48 hours if you're approved, and then we'll take it from there. But the link is going to be in the show description notes below this episode. And yeah, hopefully you got a lot from this. Hopefully you have a lot to think about. Hopefully you have some things to contemplate on. I would love to hear from you if you thought this was helpful. It means the world to me when you let me know that you're listening to this podcast. And you can either do that by sliding in my DMs and letting me know that you listened to episode number 38, I think is the number that we're on. Or if you want to just I would love a 5-star review. I would love for you to subscribe to the show. I would love for you to leave a comment, or like whatever that looks like for you. It goes a long way, and it lets me know that I'm on the right track of creating value for you guys in these episodes. So let me know if this was helpful. I love you so much. Go treat yourself to some Starbucks today, whatever that is, like a coffee, a latte, a matcha, whatever that is. And I'm sending you all the good vibes. Mwah.